Hi, in this video I'm going to present a workflow connecting 3D Studio Max where we will build a basic 3D model with Stable Diffusion in order to create an almost real-time AI renderer. This will give us the benefit to update 3D model and cameras and get almost instantly AI generated images. For the 3D software I'm using 3D Studio Max, but this workflow can be applied to any other 3D software where you can build any basic 3D geometry. For the AI part, I'm using Stable Diffusion with the interface of ComfyUI. I'm not going to dive into details how to set up ComfyUI, but I'm gonna leave those two videos in the description where you can find more details on how to set up the workflow and which videos inspired me to create this specific workflow that I'm going to present.
So here we are in 3D Studio Max and ComfyUI. I'm gonna keep everything very short, so I'm gonna fast forward processes that are taking a bit longer, and the best way to move forward with ComfyUI I think is to install the ComfyUI Manager, and then after downloading my workflow we can install any of the custom missing nodes that I have used in this process. So I'm going to build a very basic setup on ComfyUI, adding an efficient loader and an efficient sampler, and I'm going to connect those two. One thing that is important for our workflow to be faster is to use this LoRa called Diffusion PyTorch model, which you can find in the videos that I have on the description. And we can lower for now the steps maybe to 16, the denoise to 0.5, and let's leave the rest as it is for now. We need the viewport to be transmitted in ComfyUI, so for that we can use screen share, and we can start sharing our part of the monitor, for instance our viewport. Now we need to scale that down because it might be a lot of pixels for ComfyUI to handle. So for that I use a node called image scale to size, which will scale down one side of the image, here the longest, to whatever pixel that we are putting on the length. Now we can plug our image into our sampler. I'm going to use a very basic node prompt here, a house on a snowy landscape. And I'm gonna build that very quick in 3D Studio Max. So here is a basic model of a house on a snowy landscape, and we can already use the prompt in order to see what we get as an image. I think I haven't hit live run, which is going to update the viewport. So you can see already that it gives us something. It is close to what the viewport is, but it's not very accurate. but it's still very, very close. We can help it in order to make it better by adding control net adapters. This is going to be the depth map and the canny edge. We need to also apply nodes for those things. And control net loaders. The depth for the depth map and the canny for the canny. So we take the nodes, we bring it here, and we connect them. And finally to our case sampler. So what depth map and canny edge does, we can check it with a preview notes. If we queue the prompt here, we see what information we are getting out of it. So we can fine tune a bit the canny edge since it's missing some edges. I think it's good now. And we can queue that, and we see that we are already much more accurate and closer to the viewport. So that's the first step. The other step is that we really need to play with all the case sampler settings and find the ones that are good for our case. And hit run.
Okay, so here we are with another scene. I have worked just a bit more on the surrounding of the building, and I have used a very basic prompt, a house in Tuscany with a pool. So here we just want to showcase a couple of stuff that can give us the freedom to manipulate things in the benefit of controlling the output and not let the AI doing random stuff while we move around and we create things with our 3D Studio Max viewport. So the first thing is that we need to be aware of two values, CFG value and denoise value. My feeling, I know that CFG value goes more with the prompt side when it's higher, and it gives like AI the freedom to affect stuff with the prompt that we've put in. And going down, we are connected more to what we see in the viewport in our workflow. So the same thing with the denoise. If I bring the denoise higher, we're gonna see that it doesn't really take one-to-one what we have in the viewport, but it tries to translate stuff. We are still getting the geometry because we have the control net adapters, but I have the feeling that if we use the lower value, we can change stuff on the viewport, and this can affect our final image. For instance, we can start with the color of the building, and we can make that another, even something like green, and we see that instantly changing the way it renders the image. So that is one thing that we can do. Let's bring it back. I think I like that color. Another thing is that as we saw, the color affects the result. So for instance, you can see that some trees are lit up, some others are not, and this is because due to those orange spheres that I have copied and put them inside the tree, just a bit visible, so that it changes the color of the tree. And this will affect also the final image. So it's good to keep in mind that the color in general can be interpreted into something else in Stable Diffusion. So now we see that this tree also has light, but this, of course, we don't need to do it also only with spheres or just trying to manipulate the textures, or we can also put real lights inside, and we can see if we have the scene lights on, we can see AI is affected of it. So we can put the light wherever we like. And this gives us a different impression and time on the Stable Diffusion. And the final thing I would show here is that if I start changing also the HDRI on the background, for instance, bring the sun at the back, we are getting a different image. Of course, our Omni light now is very, very intense, so we can bring it a bit down. And of course we can move also our camera, so we can test very fast different views, see what works, what doesn't, and move forward. I hope you found that useful. Feel free to ask anything you want. I will try to reply. And of course, let me know if you have any suggestions to make that workflow even better. Thanks for watching.